Could things be finally looking up for Tottenham Hotspur? I don't really think it could get much worse, but this is not normal. 3 academy kids score their first goal for the club in the same game, a game where Tottenham needed to win in the sense of, getting that automatic qualification to the round of 16. And, that goal from Ajayi, he was the player I'm least familiar with. Obviously, we know all about Mikey Moore. Excellent talent. Scarlett, I've heard a lot about him as well. I think Mourinho gave him his debut. But Ajayi is one I'm not familiar with. But that goal, unreal. The movement, the 1-2, the finish. That is a crazy debut goal. So we're going to talk in this video about the Spurs youngsters. I will talk a little bit about the Elfsborg match and what I saw and what I picked out from that match, but I was more focused on the Man United match. But I will say right from the start, the difference having Van der Ven back makes for Tottenham. If he stays fit, your season will definitely go up. I will tell you that for a fact. And also, Son looked really good. Maybe the Tell links have done something. I'm going to do a video talking about Tell at some point if he moves to the Premier League. But let's talk about the Tottenham kids. Let's talk about the Tottenham youth, because in today's video, I'm going to talk about, obviously, the 3 goal scorers. I'm going to talk about Bergvall, Gray, Vuskovic, what Tottenham's youth have. Like, Tell could be coming in, Odeberg could come back from injury, and what Tottenham are building. Because right now, there's not much positivity at Spurs. They've not been good this season. They are in a relegation battle. Daniel Levy's been a disgrace. Ange deserves more backing, 100%. And there's a lot of negativity around Spurs. But I will look at it, and I will say this. You're building something for the future. You've got some real exciting talent. Even the academy is looking bright at Tottenham. But I do think you need a couple ready-made players, definitely in the summer, because Solanke was the only signing you made this summer that wasn't a teenager. And I think in the summer, and because I think Tell would be amazing. I know he's a teenager, but in the summer you need to get that Van der Ven cover or Hatto left back cover. Maybe you go for Cardozo, just an extra defensive midfielder, and maybe someone experienced in attack. But the talent Tottenham have here is unbelievable, and this isn't even including 2 of the goal scorers. So let's dive into my thoughts on Tottenham and the youth, because Mikey Moore, for me, is probably England's brightest, with Ranieri, up-and-coming talent. Like, I'm support Man United, but as an England fan, I look at Ranieri and I look at Mikey Moore, and I want them to do well and I want them to play well because I'm excited for the future. Do you know what I mean? I always think it's exciting. And you know what? I've seen Mikey Moore have better games, but he was impactful. He's direct. He likes to make an impact. And I think that he's a good player because he loves to take on his man, make things happen. I think he probably could have had another goal tonight, but you feel like he's going to make something happen. He comes on in the Everton game. Tottenham almost got that game back to 3-3, and that would have been because of Mikey Moore. But I think that first goal for him will be massive in terms of the confidence and everything. But I think his desire, his eagerness to get forward, take on players, got a goal now, been getting assists a lot recently. He looks like a player that's exciting. It's not a ready-made product now. He's going to lose the ball. He's going to make bad decisions. He's going to be raw, of course. But he's showing that is a talent. 2 assists versus Everton, 1 versus Hoffenheim, and a goal versus Elfsborg. So at the moment, he's looking at 44 minutes per goal contribution, which is ridiculous stats. Now, I know Elfsborg isn't the best team in the world. But this is, it's not just the goal contributions, but it's his eagerness to take on his players and make things happen. I think it's a very exciting player, and now is the youngest English scorer in a major European competition. So very good record for him to break. But let's talk about Mikey Moore, because these are my notes from September. So I've obviously heard about Mikey Moore. I follow the Man United Academy, but I'm always aware of who the big talents are with England. And, if England have under-18s World Cup, you give it a watch kind of thing. And obviously, you've got Dalman of Arsenal and Ranieri of Arsenal. You've got Mikey Moore. But I remember watching him pre-season. First time I'd really watched him and all of that. And these were my notes I made off just the back of what I'd seen. I said, and obviously a bit of research, but obviously, again, in the under 17 Euros, so not under 18s, 10 goal contributions in 6 games. In the under-18s Premier League, he was averaging 22 goal contributions in 12 games, which was a goal contribution every 44 minutes. This guy's got output. And the fact that he's, the last 4 games, he's getting the same output he got in the academy is pretty sad. He's always been an output player. But when I watched him, it was the dribbling, the pace, the 1v1 to take on players was good. But it wasn't just he was good out wide taking players 1v1, but he had the footwork in tight spaces. And I thought he had very good ball control, and he shows elements of that technical ability. I thought, the movement, the IQ, the instinct, and, from what I've seen as well, particularly in academy days, good set piece taker, good finisher, and really, really exciting talent in Mikey Moore. But Scarlett and Ajayi, am I saying his name right? Obviously did very well today. Apparently this means that Dane Scarlett now cannot go out on loan because he can't play for 3 clubs in one season. And I thought Lancashire might have come on over him. But you know what? Very good from him today because the header, the desire he showed to win the ball, got the goal, got the assist. Tottenham needed to win that game, and he came on and he made the impact because when Son and Van der Ven came off, I thought that Tottenham would maybe get worse because they were the two best players in the first half. But the youth to come on and make the impact they did. Maybe Ange can rely on them more. Obviously, it's Elfsborg, Premier League opposition is different. But they really impressed because I thought it might be one of those games where Tottenham had a really good first half and then they just let the second half go away from them. Because I've seen that this season. Nearly every game you've lost, I think, bar like the Liverpool game, out of your last 20 games, you've only lost by 1 goal. Only lost by 1 goal. It shows that, like, had you not made a silly error, you get a draw. Had you taken that chance, you win. And I think that is a big example of injuries. And I was thinking, is that one of those games where Tottenham let themselves down because they have a good first half, they let go in the second half? But no, these guys came out and they did well. And as I said, with the Ajayi goal, that was unbelievable. And I think the fact they stepped up in a must-win game is big. And I think they're not the most hyped academy talents. They're not like Moore. Scarlett's obviously had loans. Ajayi's one I really don't know much about, to be honest. But I'll keep an eye on him if he plays more. But what Tottenham also have is these players. And again, I'm using some of my notes from earlier in the season and pre-season when I spoke about these players and when I did research. Because I had to do loads of research on Bergvall about a year and a half ago. But this is more recent research. But Bergvall used to be seen as the Frankie de Jong type. And I thought Bergvall looked a burnt out today. And he wasn't at his best. But you also have a really good player in Bergvall. You saw the Liverpool game. You've seen some Premier League games this season. He's worked his way in the starting 11. This was notes again from the summer when I was talking about him and what he'd done over in Sweden. But he was, when it came to possession, when it came to passes, completed successful pass rate, he was at the top. He knows how to keep the ball. He can resist the press. He can move the ball quickly. Very good under pressure. Can turn and dribble out with ease. I think he likes to dribble. He likes to progress forward. The biggest criticism I have with Bergvall is knowing when to pass and when to carry. But that he's young. Like, that's not a criticism. But he works hard. He's always got that desire to press. He covers so much ground. Like, we talk about Bergvall's his technical ability, the Frankie de Jong comparisons, but he covers ground and, he can play those short passes. And I think what stands out for me with Bergvall is he plays those quick passes and he likes to make things happen, and he's been really good for Tottenham lately. Today wasn't his best game, but he's been good. Archie Gray's been insane. To think that this is an 18-year-old midfielder playing at centre-back, and he's better than Dragusin. And Dragusin's come off injured, so maybe Tottenham will look at another defender. I don't know, not Mikey Moore, Van der Ven's back. But this guy, obviously, he's known for what he does on the ball. Unbelievable on the ball, can play out from the back, can break lines, press resistant, can receive his back to goal. He's going to be a DM. He's the DM, but a centre-back, the fact he can play right-back as well, versatile. But obviously Archie Gray is an unbelievable player. He's got the long-legged sort of frame so he can win the duels well, good 1v1, can defend the wide channels, can take on the man. His positional sense has really impressed me because that was what I was, not natural centre-back, how will he do? I think was solid player, solid signing, and I want to see him in midfield. I think eventually he will move into midfield. I think he will be that DM long term. You have been into Cardozo as well, which will be an interesting one there. But there's other players. Again, these were my notes on Vuskovic. I did a little bit of research on him, not loads, but just looked good on the ball, looked good at breaking the lines. And, Dragusin, I think, is not as good as Romero on the ball. And when Romero's injured and Dragusin comes in, you see that. But Vuskovic looked comfortable on the ball. Obviously, he's been scoring goals loads. Crazy. But he looked like someone that was very athletically good, could cover the ground, very good in the air. Was he scoring the goals, like set pieces? That's something Tottenham needs to improve on. But carried the ball, and he looked like that profile that Man United signed Aiden Heaven from Arsenal. We've got Gobble Konki in the academy. We're talking about those centre-backs with the long legs that can win the duels, that can play out wide, that can carry the ball. And he looked like that kind of profile of player, which I think is the future. The Vuskovics or the Dean Huijsens, like the profile could be the future. So Tottenham have another good player there. And they've also just signed, done deal today. I was going to make a transfer video on it, but I was like, I don't want to make a transfer video on Tell to Tottenham and then 5 hours later he joins Arsenal. If it was beginning of the window, I'd have done a video on it. So I'm going to wait to see what happens tomorrow with Tell. But I actually had a recorded transfer video to come out today, and I thought, nah, screw it. I'll talk about the youth. But they signed Daniel Batty from the City Academy. And I'm not going to pretend I watched the Manchester City Academy, other when they play Man United. But from what I've read, very technically gifted, creative, number 10, playmaking type player. And this is probably the kind of transfer Tottenham should be making. What Man United done is they went to Arsenal, they took Obi Martin in heaven. Toby Collier we took from Brighton when he was 17. Garnacho we took from Atletico Madrid when he was 16. To go to the other academies and sign their top 16, 17, 18-year-olds, that's something Tottenham should be doing. Now, of course, Tottenham need ready-made players now. I think Tottenham have got so many good wingers, but they're so young. They need ready-made players now, and they need left back and left centre back backup. Like, they need that. But it's the strategy. It's they're building something for the future. Definitely building something for the future. But yeah, from the Elfsborg game, these were my notes. This was the lineup. These were my notes. First half was probably a bit dull. I mean, I was more focused on the Man United match. Like, I'm not going to lie and act like all my attention was on the top. Right, my Wi-Fi just crashed, so I have a feeling this last minute of the video could be blurry. So I apologise if there was some blur or some lag, because I don't know when the Wi-Fi crashed, and I've been rambling, so I don't even know where to pick up from, but I feel like, great. Absolutely great, the Wi-Fi's gone for it. I can't remember what I was talking about, but I was just talking about the game, and I was saying the first half was a bit meh. Obviously, it was just more focused on the Man United game, but I thought Van der Ben was good, I thought Son was good. I thought second half, the kid's done really well. I thought Archie Gray, again, looks like top centre-back. But your season, can you win a trophy? Yeah, you can win a trophy. Will you get relegated? It's a possibility with the games you have and the fact that you can't beat Everton and Leicester, although you'll probably beat the Manchester clubs and then give all the relegation teams points because you like Robin Hood this season. But Daniel Levy needs to spend. For me, you need someone like Hatter. I don't know if you get him with Ajax. You need an attacker. You've got the kids are great, the kids are talented, but they need experience, Kids can win you stuff, but they need to be, when you look at the class of 92 of Man United, it was brought in with this good stability and this good experience, which is something that Tottenham don't have. But I don't think you get relegated. I think if Van der Ven stays fit, there's no way you guys are getting relegated because he is your most important player. He is key. Whenever he goes injured, Spurs get downhill. So if you have Van der Ven and Romero fit, even Vicario back, you've got that core. And that core just gives Tottenham stability because you keep losing games by 1 goal, but then you don't concede that silly goal. And Archie Gray could even be trialled at DM that way. I think even a doggy coming back into full fitness. I think, Porro hasn't been as good this season, but I think it's exhaustion. I think when Tottenham had everybody fit, they were playing good football, but they've had no luck with injuries. So I think if Tottenham can get some luck with the injuries and then they can integrate the youth, they've got something going on. But anyway, thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.